Tonight on the 6th, we are going to debunk the myth of unconditional love. We are joined by the lovely and talented Tallulah Johnson from across the pond. The panel discusses next. The 6th starts right now. Saturday, February 19th of 2022. It is good to have you guys in today. Guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Share the video so the message can get out. Make sure you are commenting to push us up in the algorithm. And so before we get into today's topic, allow me to introduce today's esteemed panel. First up, it is the man, sorry about that. It is the man, the myth, the legend. We call him the Mark Wahlberg of the Manosphere. It's Kevin Savo. What's going on, brother?
Mark Wahlberg. Marky Mark, unmute yourself first.
It's
Thanks
those,
for that reminder.
it's those
Bro.
good vibrations.
Hey, I was
sweet.
listening to Fresh and Fit in the car when you guys were on with Aaron Clary, and the subject comes up about 25-year-old guys thinking they can enter the red pill space, and I'm thinking, oh, Jesus.
Oh, boy.
Christ.
Here we go.
I'm like, don't say it, and he said it.
Well, let's go off on a tangent here. What do you think of 25-year-olds joining the red pill space? What do you think about that?
I'm not trying to join the red pill space. I'm a filmmaker, and I just got welcomed here because I casted you guys in my films, and I was like, you know what? I could do the discussion, but, I'm not trying to come in here and be a men's life coach. I just kind of like give him my 2 cents here and there. You know what my brother says about the 6?
What does he say?
What makes a lot of sense. He says if Fresh and Fit is like the Manosphere's Tonight Show, then the 6 is like the sports center of the Manosphere. And I was thinking that's actually a true point, because the way we don't all get to interrupt each other and we all go one by one and give our take, it is like Sports Center. It's dope.
I do like that comparison.
Can I be Howie Long?
Yeah, listen, I need a gap in my teeth to be Michael Strahan. Next up, it is the unofficially ordained minister of the streets. It's Minister Jap from the South Side of Chicago. What's going on, brother?
Church checking in, man. Church checking in, man. We ready to rock. Ready to rock and roll, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How was your week, Jap? Everything good with you?
Man, just a lot of man, if I was to be truthful, it was my homie, he lost his daughter. And we've been dealing with that. Then I got a lot of things I had to fix in the crib. I had a flood. It was a whole lot of craziness going on this week. The funeral actually today, I didn't want to go see that though, but
no, I got
you. It's Chicago is serious, bro.
Yeah. Was there pew violence involved? Is that what happened, or was this just wrong place? Oh man, dude.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that, brother.
12 years old.
Oh my God, that is incredible.
Yeah.
Well, our condolences to your friend's daughter, man. Hopefully you find some peace in that. Next up, it is the man who is the reason they call Tony Stark the White Hotep Jesus.
That Hotep Jesus dude. That Hotep Jesus dude.
Hotep.
What's up, man?
Shout out Tariq Nasheed. Have you and him buried the hatchet yet? Like, are you cool with him, or?
He had a space, one of those Twitter spaces opened up a couple of weeks ago.
Okay,
I entered, and
what happened?
We chopped it up for a little while.
Okay.
A few moments, and I invited him on the show, and he seemed reluctant, although his words insinuated otherwise.
Tell the truth, he sound flaky as shit. He went with that. I heard
that's
that.
What it was. It sounds like he
sounded flaky as shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds to me like he's kind of a it sounds to me like he's kind of an online gangster.
It's just you caught him on live, so he didn't want to, and then he didn't want to say what he probably wanted to say to you.
Yep.
It would have gave you some attention, So
Yeah.
just email me. You know,
He was scared. He was
went
scared.
Hollywood on you. So,
He was scared. He was scared.
I'm gonna say it. That shit was fake. as hell.
Next up from the same region, it is Coach Everett Overton, the incomparable Coach EO. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
What's up, guys? Good to be back after a week off, and good to see everybody on the panel. Interesting discussion we got here today. And,
Yes.
hey, don't be nervous to the lady. I think she said she was a little nervous.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah,
nothing to be
yeah.
nervous about. Just be yourself.
No, we're cool. We
Nobody gonna hurt you.
It's all good. It's all good. Next up, it is the godfather of the manosphere himself. It is the great Rollo Tomasi.
Hey, that's the only intro I got. That's the only one I need, actually.
Hey, that's a good one.
Seen any good podcasts lately?
Oh, you know it. You know it. You've been busy this week.
I'm
You and
making
I
big
were in
moves,
Miami.
man. I did not have any intention to do. I started my travel schedule back at the end of November, and I ended up in Miami for a while. Then I went to Dallas to go do the Blaze with Elijah Schaefer. Then I end up in Houston, Texas, doing Rebel Capitalist. Then I end up back in Miami with you.
That's right.
And doing that mess, and got invited to do Patrick Bet David, which was last week.
Was
and
awesome.
That went off very well. Great numbers on that, but even more so the connection I made with Adam Sosnick was just fantastic. And
good.
there's some other irons in the fire that I'm not going to talk about right now, but this is definitely the year of big moves. So.
Okay. All right. Very good. We like to hear that from Rollo Tomasi. And last but not least, our female panelist, the lovely and talented Tallulah Johnson, coming to us all the way from across the pond in London, England. Tallulah, how are you today?
I'm really well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for making time for us. Tallulah, as you guys all know, she is a regular panelist of the Not All Women podcast with your boy. We all love the accent. Is going to add another level to the show. So, and I'll read your super chats here shortly. So I'm going to start off with Tallulah. Tallulah, give me your opening salvo, your opening thoughts. I'm going to let you lead off today's conversation. Unconditional love, go.
had to be me,
Of course.
So exactly what is the question? Is that a question of is a female's love conditional, is a man's love conditional, or both?
Good. So does unconditional love exist for men from women? Do women love unconditionally?
No.
Okay. And why do you think this?
I think it comes like I'm not only speaking from like a woman's point of view, but I think for males as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand that in my relationship, that if I wasn't the way that I am in this relationship, I wouldn't have this relationship with the man that I do.
Okay.
And yeah, it's exactly the same from my side. There were certain aspects about him which I was attracted to when we first met. And that isn't just like any guy, it had certain things about him that I knew I wanted in a guy.
Okay, very good. Savo, unconditional love, does it exist for men from women? Yes or no?
To be honest with you, it might not be the answer you'd expect, but I think unconditional love can exist. Like you can love someone unconditionally. Now, however, however, a relationship is made of conditions. So we can't confuse love with the idea of how willing you are to let somebody join your life or join lives with them. I mean, like there's ex-girlfriends I could say I still love, but they certainly don't meet my conditions to be in my life. So I love them from a distance.
All right. I guess that could be a brand of unconditional love.
But I know what you're getting at. The idea in which a woman's love comes with conditions, and I guess a man's love in certain respect too, but more so a woman's love comes with conditions that you start to fail to meet her conditions that make you a top qualifier in her minds, and her love will dwindle and her interest in you will dissipate.
Okay.
I get that much.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Jap, unconditional love, does it exist for men from women?
Yes. Because
never mind.
There are more stupid men than logical. No, hear me. I understand.
That makes sense.
I understand it's funny, but really think about what I'm saying. It takes stupidity to love someone that isn't worth it. Is what I mean? Like that's doing you wrong, to have hopes in the worst, to put up with BS no matter what. I'm still like, it takes a level of stupidity to do that. In a lot of these relationships, like for instance, like with a lot of women that I know in my community, they will have unconditional love for the Pookies and the Ray Rays.
That's right. Dope boys.
All the time. Now, they will do the world for them, but give the truck driver the hard time.
Ooh.
Give the woman the hard time.
Uh-oh.
You know, so there is unconditional love, but you only get that from stupid people. Now, unconditional love for children. I don't believe
now there we go.
You almost have to be stupid to do that, because if you gave birth to Jeffrey Dahmer, you still love Jeffrey Dahmer. It takes a level of stupidity to keep doing it. So yes, I do believe in unconditional love if you're stupid.
Okay. Wow. Did not expect that. See, this is why we have this diversified panel, because I did not expect that answer. Rollo, what are your thoughts on unconditional love? Does it exist?
I'm going to break everything down analytically here.
Let's do it.
Love is an emotion first and foremost. So let's throw that one out there. The reason why you feel love in the first place is conditional, because there has to be certain conditions met before you can actually experience that emotion.
Bingo.
So whatever it is that is stimulating that or prompting that is conditional. I mean, just by nature, nuts and bolts wise, it has to be conditional. Now, is there a difference between how men's concept of love and women's concept of love? Because once you have that established as an emotion, then what do you layer on top of that is the complexities, right?
Right.
You can I love my dog. I love Ned. I love my wife. I love my daughter. I love, my mother-in-law. Hell, I love pretty much everybody on this panel. Sorry, Tallulah, I don't know you well enough just yet, but I'm just gonna relate after I fall in love with you too. But it's I think one of the things one big mistake that we make when we talk about love is we think of it in terms of like it being some sort of like I don't know, greater thing than a base emotion, and then building really a lot like this cosmic significance upon it, because it's one of the greatest emotions you can feel, right? I mean, it's one of we write songs and we lament it when we don't have it, and we rejoice when we have it. So it's definitely one of the most intense emotions that a human being can experience. So with that in mind, it's like we're going to make, God is going to be love. And even from a spiritual sense, it's like, there's still conditions for that love. So,
right.
So yeah, I don't think that there is, I mean, just from a nuts and bolts perspective, conditionality is something that we have to have as a because you don't just like spontaneously feel it, right? It has to be something, there has to be some criteria met before you can even fall in love or even have a friendship with somebody in the first place.
Right.
So there's that. And then last but not least, if you've read my book, you know what I'm going to say is that men and women have different concepts of love.
That's right.
For men tend to love idealistically, and women love opportunistically. And don't take that in a negative sense, a negative connotation. I'm saying that there are certain criteria that a man must meet for that woman to invest in that man emotionally to get to the point where she can experience love for him.
There you go.
So there has to be a certain number of like a few things on, the burden of performance. That guy has to measure up in some way before she will allow herself to have an emotional investment in that man. Men, on the other hand, tend to think of love in idealistic terms. We think that love should exist just for the sake of love. And the problem between like most of the problems and the disconnect between men and women is that either one of them believes the other one has a mutually shared concept of love.
Okay.
So for women tend to be like they tend to be the pragmatists pretending to be romantics.
Oh,
yes. Men tend to be romantics pretending to be pragmatists.
Wow, yes.
And if I think that love is one way and she thinks love is another way, then I'm presuming that her definition or concept of love is my idealistic concept of love. And then on the opposite side, it's that, women are like, hey, he better know that this is what I need from him. My needs have to be met for me to be in love with him. Ergo, it is opportunistic. And again, I mean that in the nicest possible.
Okay, very good. All right. Hotep, unconditional love. Does it exist for men from women? Yes, no, or is there another answer?
All right, let's get this thing popping. Women trash, especially Western women.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Western women are straight up trash. All right, let's just start right there.
Western women are
ignorant.
Yes, sir.
Also, when we talk about this whole thing about conditional love, right?
Right.
It's levels. Okay.
Okay.
It's levels. Not everybody has the same conditions.
Ooh.
Somebody who in a certain class has a certain set of conditions, and somebody who's in another class has another set of conditions.
Okay.
So everything is going to be conditional. It just matters like how many conditions do you have, and how stringent are you to hold yourself to those conditions.
All right.
Okay. Now, women do not have the capacity to love. All right.
Okay.
I'll say that. They do not have the capacity to love. What they have is the capacity to create a movie in their head.
Okay.
A Cinderella story that they fall in love with. They fall with the idea of something. Okay? They don't actually fall in love with the man. They fall in love with a lifestyle.
Woo! Uh-oh. Here we go.
Here we go. With a roller coaster of emotions. They need to feel the ups and the downs. If you give her no downs, she can feel no ups. If she feels no downs, she will create downs just to feel the ups. Women don't love anything. I hardly think they even love their children half the time.
Wow.
I've been preaching that for years.
Wow.
Women are predators. And I don't mean that in, the rapey form of the word. I mean that in the very carnal sense of the word.
Okay, I got you.
You've got to be careful around women because they always on the hunt. So when a woman tells you she loves you, she's not saying she loves you. What she's saying is, I love what you do for me.
Okay.
And how you make me feel. Okay.
Wow.
That's first and foremost. And you are replaceable.
That's right.
Replaceable. As for men, well, men are the reason why women have become trash in the Western world.
Uh-oh.
Right? Men have spoiled women. Men have lowered their standards. Simping has turned women into pimping.
Thank you.
Let's give him
I
two.
digress.
Wow. Okay.
I
Hotep.
gotta say this one thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Jep. Go ahead. Then we'll go Hotep or EO.
Week. I got nothing but hell. I had to fall back because the tricks and the simps were attacking me. I did a whole week of just talking about how tricking has made these women have an elevated sense of confidence, has made them unruly because they know at the end of the day, someone's going to pay. And at the end of the day, you still going to pay.
Damn right.
Because you're going to put up with her shit and then pay her at the end of the day. So the buying pussy, the buying trips, everything, when I talked about, oh my God, it's all lining up. Today's going to be a very holy day.
Oh, yes.
It's all lining up today.
It is very,
Oh,
very...
Tep, I didn't pin you as the one to make this conversation controversial off that.
You know how that goes.
It's because you got this nice melodic way of putting things.
Yeah, he's the calmest. He's the calmest member.
Yeah, he sounded a lot like me there. I was like, hold on, we switched roles today.
Yeah, it's got a rhythm to it usually.
All right, so we're gonna go EO, and then Tallulah's got something to add. EO, unconditional love. Go.
Yeah, man. I mean, everybody is 100% correct. I love Hotep's take on that, especially. I'll tell you this. One time, a girl told me she loved me. A lot of women told me she loved me, but one time this woman was sitting on my couch, and I think I knew her for 4 weeks, something like that. And she's like, I love you. And I said, no, you don't. I said, this is what you love. You love who you are allowed to be when with me.
Woo! Holy shit. Oh,
and I don't truly believe that anyone loves anyone. I will say men and women both don't love anybody. Who you love is who you are being in that moment and who you are either allowed to be. And that could be egoic love. That could be spiritual love. There's different forms of love. You can sit on a meditation mat and light sage, and now you're a spiritual lover. I will also say this. So I don't think anyone truly loves anyone outside of themselves. I think every person is self-serving. And so when you say you love someone, you actually are pointing that love back at yourself. You're saying that I love the conditions here. I love who I'm allowed to be. So I don't think anyone truly loves. I think you love as Hotep said, the idea, these are, it kind of goes on both sides, men and women both. I will tell you that a moment in my life where I've kind of looked at where is the freest moment in life where people are very free of conditions. And that's usually a one-night stand or on vacation. So if you look at people who have one night stands, there's not a lot of restrictions, not a lot of boundaries, not a lot of contracts. It's like, yo, I want to fuck. Do you? Yeah, you're fine enough. I'll bang you out real quick. And you take her in a hotel room or wherever, you bang her out. There's not a lot of conditions there. Okay, but anytime that you want to continue that one thing, now boundaries have to come into play, management has to come into play, which is essentially conditions. So so in summary, no one loves anybody. Who you truly love is yourself. And you're just projecting that outside of you. It's kind of a coping mechanism to tell people you love them. Who you really love is yourself. And then the second thing is that the truest form of freedom that most people exhibit is when they're having short-term love affairs.
Yes.
It's not when you get into a relationship.
Yes. Wow. Tallulah, you said you had something to add. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. It's just on pretty much like what everyone's been saying here is like, you know, all this like love conditionally and things like that. And one of you mentioned that, you know, if it's not going to be that guy, like someone's going to pay and all of those things. For me personally, and this is just my personal story, I have never, ever, ever been in a relationship with a guy that I do not generally love.
Okay.
And yes, I agree with the fact that love is conditional. If I really think about it, like my partner, I love with all my heart. That's what I think. But actually, there was something for me to fall in love with him.
Okay.
So, for example, like,
why you love him?
I would challenge that there was something through him that you were able to love yourself.
I would also challenge if
you were able to love yourself through him.
All right, one at a time, guys. One at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to know why she loves him.
Okay, go ahead, Tallulah.
Okay, so when I met him, like I sensed straight away that when it was kind of like a friend of a friend how we met, and the way he was behaving in the particular place that we were, like it's every single guy was looking up to him, and that was really, really attractive to me. And obviously in that moment I just thought, oh, I really, really like that guy. I don't know what it is. I really want to talk to him, but it was because there was some sort of status to begin with.
Right.
Now that is not completely why I'm with him. Yes, he's successful. Yes, he has status. They're all great things, but I love him for him. Now that I've got to know him, but he had to have those things first.
Yeah, that's a lie.
For me, no, hang on. I'm saying he had to have those things. He had to have those things first for me to actually fall in love with him.
Right.
So what I'm saying is he had some kind of power, he had some kind of status, he had money, he was successful, other guys like really looked up to him, but that's what got me interested in him, and then the love came. But I don't know if the love would have come. It wouldn't have.
No, of course
not. If he
not.
didn't have all those attractive things to me, I wouldn't have noticed him. Perhaps.
I think we as well. There you go. I think we all have whatever it's called, and I think that's what we call the feeling that we feel for someone. We call it love, but the definition of love clearly varies from person to person. I love Dev, but who knows what my definition of love is. I do believe that Tallulah loves her boyfriend, the guy she's in a relationship with, because her face lights up the screen. Now, there might be people on this panel that call that something else, or maybe they don't think that whatever it is that you call it, she has feelings for this guy that she doesn't have feelings for anyone else currently. I think that's probably the closest universal definition of love there is, whatever we call it. Go ahead.
Why you say she lying, yo?
Well, I shouldn't have said that. I mean, that is kind of rude. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize for calling to say that was a lie. Here,
she's not lying. She can't grasp your concept.
Yes, and that's true. So what I mean is, when she looked at him in that moment, what she saw is her own popularity of being with him, like how I'm gonna feel fucking with this dude.
Jesus dude.
Okay, and so it all comes back to self-love, self-value, that self-service, all of this, everything you do comes back to how you're gonna feel doing that one thing.
And I'll tell you something. And I'll tell you something else. That doesn't make us.
So when she saw him, she was thinking, okay, if I get this dude, women will be jealous of me. Women will be jealous of us. That's what you were really thinking. It had nothing to do with that motherfucker.
Well,
I think that.
Go ahead. Hold on, Jep. Go ahead, Tallulah. Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I would agree to a certain extent with that. That, you know, when I will say that even just in my guy's presence, that where he is confident and perhaps I'm not as confident, that being around him gives me confidence.
Complimentary.
Which is self-love.
Yeah. So he almost like elevates me without even realizing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Complementaryness.
And so I do agree with what you said there. That doesn't, and exactly when I met him, I thought, oh my gosh, like imagine a life with him, and I was straight in there because he was.
Women marry. I said this on Fresh and Fit. Women don't marry a man; they marry a lifestyle.
Yep, that's all right. That's what you have to do. Now before Jap goes, I'll also say this.
I'll go after Jap too.
Okay. All right. Very good. So, okay. So men, we love, what is it? Not opportunistic. We love ideally, and women all love opportunistically. We've said on this program many, many times again, yes, women are hypergamous. That does not make them bad people. Yes, women like guys who are 6 feet tall and confident and six-pack abs. That does not make them bad people. Where men decide to try to make women bad people for liking what they like is when they don't fit the bill themselves. Oh, she only goes for rich, tall, successful guys. Well, every woman goes for that. That does not make women bad. And it doesn't make men bad that we like young, attractive, or young and attractive women. It's just who we are as people. So I want people in the audience to know and understand that, hey, we understand female nature. This does not make them bad or evil people. Yes, when we all go after somebody, there is a little bit of self-service involved, but by the same token, this is who we are. That doesn't make us. I'm not saying that EO was implying that Tallulah was a bad person for going after her guy.
And
of course,
I do want to say, I hope I didn't come off disrespectful. It was more so at the talking point that I was trying to illustrate, not her.
Okay, fair enough.
I want to ask EO something real quick. Can I ask him something?
What's up?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, just real quick, like this. I'm loving this concept, and I just want to ask. So, would you say that if a woman is displeased with a man, the reaction it naturally triggers in her to then act out and do stupid shit maybe is causing her to become somebody that she dislikes, which is like the opposite. Which is like the opposite of what you're talking about. Whereas if she feels like she can be something within his framework, that's how she knows she loves him, because she's loving herself the way the behavior she's bringing out of he's bringing out of her.
What do you think, EO?
That's exactly right. Women need inner war. So they're going to pick the perfect storm. They're going to pick somebody who brings them peace, but while simultaneously she knows that he can, fuck everything up if need be. So women need inner war, which is why I said that you have to introduce positive drama to the relationship, because if she has smooth sailing too long, she'll find a way to fuck it up herself. And so yes, to that point, true. And then there's a comment here, like even if parents unconditionally love you, and that's bullshit also. Yeah. They only love you because they carried you and you came out of their body. That's the only reason why they love you. It's self-centered
affiliation.
Have you said this in a video? Because that's great.
Altruism.
All right. So
we're going Jap, then Rolo. Go ahead.
The conversation is kind of drifting away from the actual topic. Unconditional love is specific. So when conditions change, and that's why I wanted to challenge her, like what a lot of women say. Yeah, I love you. Okay, when the conditions change, if he kicks your ass, if he fucks your friend, is the love unconditional? If he,
well, wait a minute. She says she loves her guy, but she did not say that her love for her guy is unconditional.
Because we're just vaguely talking about.
Oh, what if he falls off?
Exactly.
Well, I think she'll admit.
I'm not done. Yeah. The conditions that she set forth made her love him. She had conditions, and he met those. He met the criteria.
Right.
That's why she loves him.
Right.
Now, when things change, he either gets overweight, he starts balding, he might lose a job. He may not give you what you fell in love with, and the conditions change. Unconditional love is specific. I don't think it's possible because
no, it's not.
Conditions change, and we're not going to be in love with people no more. Like, we love kids because they're kids and they meet the expectation of what kids are. When they become adults, kids and parents can fall out and they may not speak forever.
Yeah.
Because they're like, man, fuck my kids. You know, people do that. Because
Tommy's book.
If your kid was on coke, heroin, and stole from you, you know what I'm saying? Raped a bunch of people, did something that's always in jail, made you lose your house, you'll say, fuck your kid. You don't love that kid. You never want to see him again. So it's an illusion. It's just a word that sounds good and it's fairy tale la la land. Love is a condition that has to be met at all times for you to stay in that euphoria. But if things change, like it'll be hard for me to meet a woman that, man, I'm loving it right now. But if she gets morbidly obese,
well, of course, right. She's gone. She's out. And listen, but before Rolo goes, I'll go ahead and I can speak for Dev right now. If the conditions change, if I lose my drive to succeed, if I gain weight. Now, balding is something that I can't control, but gaining weight is something I can control. Keeping my drive, Devin has to be out the door. She has to be. If there were really such thing as unconditional love, the best genes would be bred out of existence within a matter of just a couple of generations. There have to be, and women, when they have sex, when they commit to someone, they're risking far more biologically and physiologically speaking than men are. So they have to be more selective. So I want to make clear that, hey, if I lose my edge and drive to succeed, Devin is fucking gone, and she should be gone. It's the same with Tallulah and her guy. If her guy were to all of a sudden fall off, no, she would clearly not feel the same about him. Rolo, what do you got?
When we have these like the whole reason we're even talking about unconditional love, or that it's even a topic, is simply because we're like trapped in this romantic ideal that it shouldn't matter, no matter what, come hell or high water, right? In sickness and in health, and richer for poor,
for better or worse,
forsaking all others. I mean, think of all the traditional marriage vows. All of those are conditions that are like, okay, I don't care if you get cancer. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care if you lose your job. I don't care, no matter what. Like it's supposed to be this. So the vows are basically this insurance policy. But what insurance against what? Insurance against the conditions that would otherwise prompt me to leave your broke ass. That's what it would be. And I think that when we're talking about the concepts of love between men and women, like I was saying, like Tallulah here was talking about, like, the things that made her sort of fall in love with that guy are exactly what I just said. It's about opportunism. And again, like you were saying before, Donovan, it's not that it's bad or it's good. It just is. That's just the concept. And they have to, because women are hypergamous. They're looking for the best. I mean, it's a survival instinct. Is I got to look for somebody who is the best genetic specimen I can get with, and the guy who is the best prospect for long-term security, parental investment, protection, and provisioning. Okay. So that, of course, is going to affect their mating strategy. And it's also going to affect women's concept of love. So as I said before, women, when it comes to opportunism and seeing a guy, they want the best. They want a better than merited or better than deserved situation according to like their sexual market value versus a guy's sexual market value. And that's why women have higher standards for men. They have more standards for men. They have more. They have Royce used to call it the 436 bullet point checklist. And he's got to be good looking. Got to love his mom. He's got to want kids. He's got to like puppy dogs. He's got all these things down the line. And then for men, it's primarily she's got to be hot and she's got to be available, right?
Yes.
But when men view love, we tend to look at it idealistically. And the reason why we do is because men are innately idealistic. We're idealists, okay? We want to believe what is possible. We want to affect our world, our will upon the world. We want to solve problems. How do we solve those problems? Through idealism and imagination. How can we put a bridge across that river and find out what's on the other side of that river? We look outwardly at the world, and we also have a burden of performance because of women's hypergamy. So we have to perform. We innately want to perform. I don't care if you're 90 years old or you're 5 years old or 7 years old riding wheelies down the street to get that cute little girl's attention. It's not something that you had to learn. It's something that is innately part of a man's nature. So we look at women as problems to solve. And so therefore we have to perform up to a certain level of that opportunism. And therefore that kind of gets thrown into our idealism. So when we talk about unconditional love or this fantasy of unconditional love, men tend to look at that in idealistic perspectives. So the perspective is this: wouldn't it be nice if we could take women at face value and say love exists for the sake of love? Wouldn't it be awesome if we didn't have to worry about our burden of performance? And women would love us no matter what, what kind of loser we are in sickness and in health, for rich or for poor, till death do us part, forsaking all others. Wouldn't that be great? Let's make a bunch of vows and hold everybody to a contract so we can compromise each other's mating strategies based on my perception as a man, what I think love ought to be and what women believe love ought to be. Now, as negative as all this sounds, right? A lot of people will say, well, hypergamy is very opportunistic and it's very mercenary. And
but it is what it is.
It is what it is. So it is what it is. But there's also, I do believe that men and women are better together than we are apart. I also believe that we are innate natural complements to one another. We fucked that up recently, within the last, millennia here. But the fact remains is that we evolved to be complements to each other. So my strengths complement my wife's weaknesses and vice versa. That's the way it ought to be, or it was innate. Like, that's why we have sexual dimorphism between the two of us.
Right.
However, how does that relate to our pair bonding, having children, fertility rates, forming families, and all that other good stuff? The problem, as I said before, is there is this disconnect now more than ever before, where men believe that women ought to have an idealistic concept of love, and women believe that men already presume that they have an opportunistic, idea of love. Because if that weren't the case, we wouldn't hear all this shit about economically unattractive men, or guys aren't measuring up and they're not going to college, and they're not basically manning up because they're all manginas and they're all weak ass pussies. And we've talked about it on this show and everybody else's show, how this generation of men are the weakest, most soy manginas in the past 4 generations. And the reason why that's so stressing and so anxiety causing amongst women right now is because women need guys to sort of complete their own mating strategy. And there aren't any guys to do that because they believe that, you should just love me for me, right? She should just want to be into me because of me. And one day you'll find the right girl. And it's never going to happen because it's still this kind of low-key ideal that love should matter just for the sake of love, right? Whether I'm a high-performing man or I'm a low-value man or a high-value man. And so what happens is you got these guys, and we're all stressed out about that, and we want them to man up, but we only want them to man up because we want them to better serve or better fit into women's mating strategies right now and meet more of the criteria on the list of that laundry list of criteria that women need in order to fall in love with the man in the first place. That's why when we see guys making less money, or they suddenly they're Mr. Mom, or they're not going to school, or they're sitting around jerking off, and they're whatever, the video, the standard stupid archetypal, he lives in his mom's basement playing video games. The reason why we hear that from Matt Walsh and we hear that from all these trad cons and everything else is not because they're concerned with the state of men, they're concerned with the state of women.
That's right.
That because they want men to measure up to that criteria and that standard right now. And so when we look at those things, you have to point, and I would stress this upon anybody who is a content provider. When you see stuff like that, when they go, men need to man up. Okay, why? Do they need to man up because you're interested in their betterment and their well-being? Or are you telling them to man up because you feel some sort of sense of duty to get these guys to be better betas so that this woman can have a husband? Is that the motive, or is it the motive that you really actually give a shit about that guy?
I think the answer is definitely B. And I think you've said this before, build a better beta. Before we go to Super Chats, let me ask Tallulah a quick. Yeah. Let me.
I've been talking about that since like 2009, man.
Beta's building back stronger.
Tallulah, hold on, guys. Before we go to
robbed you, bro.
Before we go to Super Chats, let me ask Tallulah. I think it's safe to assume that if your boyfriend were to fall off, if he were to lose his drive, if he were to get fat, at that point, your love for him would substantially dwindle. I would imagine.
Look at her. Look at a woman like that. Look at her. She out the door in 2.5 seconds.
No, do you know what I thought about what you guys were saying with that is that actually I don't know if I would, because it's not just about those two things with him. It's the way that he is and he carries himself, and he would need a complete transplant of personality to be different. I mean, if he had a complete personality transplant and he started acting like what Roller calls, a beta male behavior, then I would be out that door.
Right, but because it's in him.
Is that but like even if he did start gaining weight or whatever, I probably would stick by him because he is still him. He is still going to operate what you guys say in his frame. He's still like, what this comes down to as well is when you guys were saying kind of all these things that guys have to be, I get that. But actually, I see it as I would rather be a guy, quite honestly, because as a woman, it is hard. Like with my guy, don't you think that there's conditions to that for him?
Of course. Yeah.
Like
Can I ask you a question?
I'm
Hold on.
not a girl in my 20s. I'm in my late 30s. I understand that my guy, you know, I'm touching wood as I say this. I am so lucky to have him. Like I have no words.
Can I ask you a question?
Right? I have no words. I am so lucky to have this guy. And this guy could go off, he could get someone in his 20s tomorrow. The night that like I met him, he could have done that. He might have done that. I don't even know. And there are conditions, like he might not say to me, like there's certain things, okay, like I don't post up photos. I'll always put up videos about this, that I do not post photos in bikinis. I do not do any of this. I would be out the door. He would not have that. He's not controlling about it. That's the thing. He's not controlling. He just is clear in his manner and the way that he is. If that's making sense, it's just how he operates.
Hotep, you've got a question?
I have to live up to a certain standard to stay in his life as well.
If he asked you to shut down your Instagram, would you do it?
I don't have Instagram. I have a business Instagram that's new. I don't have an Instagram. He would not like me having Instagram. I don't need Instagram because I'm getting what I need validation wise from him.
See, there's a reason. Yeah, see, there it is. There it is.
I like that.
Yep.
I share photos with my friends of like things that I'm cooking or doing or whatever. That's fine, but I don't need Instagram.
What's your business? What's your business?
I don't actually work. I do stuff for him and his business.
What's your business? What's your business Instagram account?
It's the Feminine Truth.
I just started a YouTube channel trying to help women kind of understand this stuff. My YouTube channel is for women, but we have an agreement with that as well. If people find out that because this guy is of status, if they find out that I'm doing this, the channel is over. That's it. I will call my channel, and I'm happy to do that.
There's a reason why Tallulah's on my 5-woman panel is because she meets these criteria. Tallulah is also, she also endorses women. Hey, shut down your Instagram. No bikini pics. If you're with a guy you really like, there's no need. And Tallulah and I, we had this talk. She said, all right, Donovan, listen, I'd love to come on, but if something were to maybe compromise my guy's position or something were to get out, then I'm gonna have to disappear, take down my Instagram, take down my YouTube. Hey, no problem. This is exactly the way it should be. All right, let me quickly read the super chats and then I have a very good question for the panel. JBlaze11 with the $5 super chat says, shout out to Hotep and EO. Every guy willing to improve themselves should see that interview. So many gems in there. Viking Paradigm, welcome to chat privileges. Appreciate that. King Life says, you nasty bish. Tommy Sotomayor. Ricky Webster, $5 says, excellent panel with a boatload of knowledge and influence. French toast props due. Destroyer of Simps, $10 says, Donovan, you should have Miss Albania from Fresh and Fit on your female panel. She's great and was putting the 304s to the fire. Salute to the panel. No, I'm gonna pass on Miss Albania. I'm gonna pass on her. She
got a little racial.
Victoria Larson.
Yeah, well, yeah,
got
Victoria
a little
Larson.
racial there.
Well, something tells me she's 26 and she's attractive, but something tells me that there were a few things about her that don't really pass the smell test as far as I'm concerned. Number one, she openly flirted with myself and Tommy Sotomayor and then told us on the panel that she was seeing someone. And at that point, I said, oh, okay, gotcha. Not to say that she's a bad person, but you can tell which ones are real ones and which ones are not. King Life, $5 says, unconditional love is only from parents, cousins, offspring, and siblings. Everyone outside of your family will come to you with conditions. Ninja Watcher for life, $20 says, running late tonight, but I'm glad I made it. Appreciate that. Invocator, $10 says, high intelligence conversation. Salute to all. And Cigarman85 with the $5 super chat says, men need to man up. Translation, men needs to give me everything I want without bringing anything to the table, or he isn't a real man. So I'm going to start this question off here with EO. Then we're going to work our way around the panel. I'm going to go EO, then Jap. What is the difference, EO? In your opinion, what is the difference between the way men view love in this day and age and the way women view love? What's the difference between male and female love in 2022? And we'll go to Jap next after this.
All right. So I think women choose love based on which man sedates her insecurities the most. Okay, so that's what my experience shows. Does this man sedate my insecurities? And if she's actually ready for a change, is this the best candidate that's going to help catapult me to that next level? So that's what it is. I've met women that were tired of partying, tired of drinking, tired of being promiscuous. And they wanted to change. They just didn't know who was going to help them do that, how they were going to accomplish that. And then when a man comes along with some stability, well, of course, she has to be sexually attracted to him as well. There's got to be a lot of other factors, but he might be the perfect guy for her. So I think women choose men based on how well he sedates her insecurities. I think men equally choose women like that. I think there is some truth to that too. Even like a man who says, you can't be on Instagram, you can't do this, you can't go out with your friends. Basically what he's saying is I want to build conditions to prevent you from cheating. Okay, that's what he's saying. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I think both sexes do very similar things.
Yes.
They choose individuals that are going to sedate their insecurities and make them feel the most comfortable, progressing that particular relationship. So I see a lot of similarities between both sexes. I know, a lot of people teach the contrast, and there are contrasts, but I think, there's two ways that we're making selections, either out of fear and lack or opportunity. And I guess what you would call natural, if you would just want to naturally evolve as a human being. I mean, all right. Again, there's got to be but there has to be boundaries, because if not, human beings are natural killers and destroyers.
Yes.
So if you just let them run ragged, you got to have laws, and that's my take on
that. Before I go to Jap, EO, you hit the nail on the head, and I think EO and I we have elite level game. We have unbelievable conversations. I think EO would agree with this. You cannot tell a woman what she can or cannot do. All you can tell her is how you would react to certain situations. So for example, you guys have heard me say this a million times. I don't commit to women who go to clubs or bars. I don't commit to women who are on social media. I don't commit to women who travel alone, all that stuff. Those are the conditions that are conducive to and lead to infidelity, which is literally exactly what EO just said. Oh my God, Donovan, are you telling me I can't do all these things? You can do whatever you want. What I'm telling you is that if you continue to engage in said activities, you are not going to get my commitment. If you get my commitment and you engage in said activities, you automatically forfeit said commitment. That's how that goes. Jap, what in your opinion is the difference between the way men view love and the way women view love? We'll go Jap, Savo, and then we'll go to Lula, and then Rolo. Go ahead. And then Hotep, go ahead.
Okay, I have to say this, man, like, just really analyzing from just experience and observation, women are better at the strategy of what love is.
Okay.
Because men pick love or fall in love for stupid reasons. She got a big ass. The sex is incredible. We require the most minuscule shit.
Right?
I had a good meal. Like, oh my God,
preaching.
I worked a long day and she was there, and she just happened to be there.
Curl my toes.
When I worked my ass off too, and I did it all on my own, but I'm gonna give her credit just because she was around. We have a lot of guys who pick love for dumb ass reasons, but women don't.
No, they don't
fall in love. It's conditions set. They love the lifestyle. They love what the man can do for them. They love the prestige of being around this guy and where it can get her. But they don't want to take any losses. So the moment that it's a situation where she has to actually, because it's like what they say, man's money is our money.
Yeah, what's mine is yours. Yeah, what's mine is mine. What's yours is mine.
Once her money starts becoming our money, she's not in love anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, like, her love conditions are more conducive to actually having a longevity and to actually substantiate of life and a lifestyle.
Okay, there we go.
Ours is to get a 22-second orgasm nut out of a bitch, and we do everything to get that. And if it's the best one we had, now we're
ready to put a ring on it.
Or if she says visually, see, hold on. This is another mature thing about women I got to give them credit about.
Okay.
Visually, most men are not mature enough to fall in love with a woman that they can't look at that are ugly. Like, you know, just
of course,
that are unattractive. But women could be in love with ugly dudes, fat dudes.
They can be.
They can be in love because the conditions are all set. You know, she loves the life. She loves everything that he's doing for her. She loves how she's able to be free and maximize her femininity.
She can fart in front of him. She can fart on his face.
Oh, absolutely.
You know it's love. That's how you know it's love. She's smelling.
Run all over.
She don't have to be on point for him. It's all
that ain't love,
to her, man.
That ain't love, baby.
I have a
Savo, what you got?
We got to get it together, fellas. We got to start putting some real conditions on when we say the word love, because women is coming up. See, when women fall in love, they come up. It's women that use men as stepping stones in divorces. I was loved this time, loved this time, loved this time. Now I'm a boss bitch. She on a third marriage and now she's a boss bitch. You on your third marriage and you about to be in your mom's house. So our love strategy is totally different.
Okay.
They love for the right reasons. We love for right now reasons.
Okay. Very good. Very good. He said a big ass. Savo. Hey, real talk. Savo, what in your opinion, we're going to go Savo, then Tallulah, then we're going to go Hotep, then Rollo. In your opinion, what's the difference between the way men view love and the way women view love?
I think the way Jap just broke it down is the way most people describe it, but not to sidestep your question. Can I speak on the lie we were told about love?
Yeah, go. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I think growing up and like headed into my first relationship or first attempt at a relationship, I was sold on the fantasy idea that the love you confess for a woman will equate to how she'll feel about you in return.
Okay.
Like I was sold the idea that love was enough. I was also sold the idea that I was sold the idea that a woman will love you as much as you love her, or will show you as much show you as much love as you show her.
Songs.
Yeah, right.
I love Survivor. I love Def Leppard. So
Power ballads, man.
That didn't help.
If you must go.
Yeah, but I think we're all. It's a real blue pill fantasy. We're all sold on the idea growing up of unconditional love, of the idea that once somebody loves you, you should be able to do no wrong, or that however you operate or however you fail won't directly negatively affect the love that somebody has for you, because love should be that strong.
Right. Right. Okay.
I think a lot of men grow up sold on that the same way women do until their perspective has changed.
Okay, very good. Tallulah, are you still? So Tallulah's battery ran out, but I think she's still with us. Are you still with us, Tallulah?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Okay.
Could you go just to the next person and come back to me so I can just re-get on the conversation here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go Hotep. What in your who did I say was next?
Nah, sorry, go ahead. You can get to Hotep.
Okay, so we'll go Hotep, then we'll go Rollo, then Tallulah. Hotep.
I'm gonna ruin you.
Oh boy, here we go. Yeah, we got to have Rollo go last because he'll take all the meat off the bone. In your opinion, Hotep, what is the difference between the way men view love as compared to the way women view love?
Let's put it in a hypothetical situation.
Oh, here we go.
You're in a relationship with an individual, and
just kidding.
She forms some sort of sickness, right? And she's not going to be able to perform any sexual duties probably for the rest of your life. Okay?
Yep.
If you take care of that woman, that is not love. That is honoring time in.
Okay. I like that.
Okay?
I like that.
Or being a man of your word, too. Just being a man of your word.
Right. That's part of honor.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you're honoring time in, right? So what you see is you'll see some situations where a man could end up sick, paralyzed, whatever, and a woman's out, but some women stay. Well, why do some women stay? Women will stay if she's going to honor the time, money, passion he put into the relationship.
Right.
She's going to honor that. It's not love. She's honoring what you've already put into the relationship. It's sort of like a house.
or pension and insurance policy. Just keeping it in the buck.
You know, when you have
dividends,
when you purchase a house, right, and you start paying off the mortgage, you start paying off principal. Having a woman take care of you when you're sick is sort of like a refinance. Okay. You get to take out as much cash as you've paid down in principal, or as much as the relationship has matured, as much as the value of the house has matured. It's the same type of situation. So you get to take out what you put in. So for men, they're honoring that, or they're honoring their own integrity. So I don't really look at it as a situation of love. I'm looking at it as like more like character, integrity.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like, hey, you put in 15. Like we've been married 15 years. You've given me 3 children. You fall ill, I'm gonna take care of you.
And then there's real quick. Can I say something real fast?
Yeah. Go ahead, Eo. Go ahead.
Real fast.
No. Go ahead.
And even in that, you're loving yourself because you're saying, I'm going to love the honor,
yes.
The commitment,
it's
the
still
longevity,
self-serving,
the
right?
investment.
Yeah.
It's really not about that bitch. It's about you, man. Yeah. And just like every move she makes, it's about her. So I think once we figure that out, that this is everything a human being does is self-serving.
I agree,
even
including loving
children,
their
even
legacy,
even everything. It's about you. And so
that doesn't make us bad people. I think this is just who we are as humans. Go ahead.
I got to agree with that too.
Some of that, EO, is ego and reputation.
Okay.
Some people still like it's for the embarrassment of being like to do something. Like if your girl caught cancer and she lose both her titties,
you know, Jesus Christ,
and you're married to her, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you still got 3 holes, but she loses around. You know what I'm saying? And the titties is what got you there. You know what I'm saying? So you are, and I hate to sound insensitive, I'm sorry to ladies. But some guys stay in it because they don't want to have to explain to the streets how bogus it was that they left at the worst point of her life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you 2 quick examples. The Michael Schiavo, Terry Schiavo situation. You guys probably don't remember this. Down in Pinellas Park, Florida, and I was actually living there at the time. Terry Schiavo had been in a car accident. She had been like brain damaged for like 15 years. Well, Michael Schiavo decided, he had taken care of her for 15 years. All of a sudden, oh my God, Michael Schiavo is dating this other woman, Amber Fry. What was he supposed? He had to get his needs met somehow. Then there's John Edwards. His wife, Elizabeth Edwards, had cancer, and John Edwards had an affair with Rael Hunter. They all came down on him. But let them reverse the genders. Let's say John Edwards were John Edwards, or Michael Schiavo were Michaela Schiavo, and Terry Schiavo were a man who had been brain dead for. Well, she had to go get her needs met, and at least she took care of them. This is what happens. There are different conditions.
Hey, Donovan, for real last 10 seconds. I swear I want to hear Roland's point at it. Don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
You almost have to forecast the future now. Okay. You're getting older, the body breaks down, accidents happen. It's like a business. At the end of the year, you got to account for loss and shit. You already accounted for that. So it's better that you kind of go into the relationship saying, listen, we're going to run this for X amount of time. We'll revisit the parameters of the relationship at the 1-year mark. And if things change, I'm going to take care of you. Like it's like if let's say you were
renewing the contract.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, you kind of restructure the contract and you let her know off jump. Like, listen, you get disfigured for some reason. I'm still going to want to fuck.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You gotta tell her that shit. This is what men do. We set the parameters from the beginning, and we're realistic. We're forecasting the future now. To say that I'm gonna feel the exact same way 5 years from now, you're being unrealistic and foolish.
Can I slip in real quick before
Go ahead, Savo, you got it.
I really agree with what EO's saying because I realized something. Maybe the girl in my life that confessed her love for me the most at a moment where I thought, damn, I think that's making me love her too. I stepped back and realized, no, I really love how much she loves me. And I love how much it feeds my ego. So I understand the self-love thing. I got to say real quick, I don't know if it was Jap that brought it up though. I disagree with the notion that the way a man loves is sexually. I understand that men prioritize sex, but I think it's in time spent without sexual attention that you catch feelings as a man. I don't think it's like you really love fucking a woman so much that you just love her.
Well, for the inexperienced, yes. Listen, if a man does not have experience
for the blue pill guys,
there you go. Yeah, there you go. Okay, for the blue pill and
Survivor, and
there you go. So if a guy is
around a bitch,
women, they love body parts. There's a difference. Men love body parts, not women.
Bingo. Listen, I love Dev, but guess what? If Dev didn't have the ass she did, if she didn't have the tits she had, I probably
She
would.
got that SEO game. No
That's
SEO
one
game.
aspect that I didn't
No
mention.
Devin.
That if
I'm
men
just
are
keeping it
around a
real.
woman for too goddamn long, they could catch feelings or whatever like that.
Right.
And then when you're a simp, like I was, I fell in love with a fat bitch one time.
What?
But I think
Jeb,
it's in,
you better be
I
kidding.
think-
So goddamn long, and she was always there for me. She was
yeah, but I think
Jeb.
it's in time. I think it's within the frame of within the
Love your
time of
fat
non-sexual attention, and within that time, I think is where you catch feelings. It's laying in bed for a half hour
Yeah.
talking and rubbing each
Yeah.
other and stupid shit. I don't think it's the act of sex itself.
I agree with
makes you
that.
fall in love.
The act of sex itself is sort of the kindling, but that's what causes the after effects. Okay, Rolo.
Sex is the glue that keeps a relationship together.
It has to be.
It's the glue that keeps it together. Man, when I said that on the Pat Campbell show,
Oh
back in
my God,
2018,
Jesus
you would
Christ.
not believe the kind of hate I got for saying that, because every woman that, and he has a pretty conservative audience to begin with. Every woman within radio distance, because back then was just losing their shit on me. And I understand that for guys, when it comes to like a woman that's not having sex with you is a roommate. It's a friend, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's somebody that we're not going to be investing ourselves in. And I think one of the reasons for that is because if you look at how we mate garden, you look at how we get jealous. For women get jealous of other women because the man falls in love, like it's an emotional jealousy. For men, it's a sexual jealousy. Like, did you fuck him here? Did you fuck him in the bathroom? Did you fuck him in the kitchen? Did you do it on my bed? They want to know like details, like where did this happen? Because we're interested in knowing whether the kid that's going to be produced as a result of that was ours or was the dude that she was banging. So, but how does that, filter into, like, everybody here has just been saying, I wouldn't be in love with a woman if she wasn't having sex with me. Well, you got to remember, like, how many people in the United States, particularly right now, what the rate of sexless marriages are today, but they're still, like, every guy that has come to me and says, Rolla, I get your red pill stuff. I'm red pill aware. I don't want to leave my wife. I'm in love with my wife. I just want her to fuck me. I just want to get back to where we were, but before all that. And so that is definitely a high priority for guys, particularly when it comes to, like, how does this person love me? Now, that's number one. Number two is this. I don't know if you guys saw this, but when I was on the Saucecast, and I was on there with Victoria Larson and
from The Bachelor,
Dr. Rebecca. Yeah, first thing out of their mouths was like astrology, first of all, and then second of all was like love languages. What's your love language?
Gotcha.
Oh, I'm a gift giver. I'm a this. I'm a that. I'm like, what's your love language? Oral sex. That's my love language right there. Pretty more or less. That's how you can show your love to me, right? But I think that, first of all, it's nonsense, because we're qualifying. People love to categorize shit. They love to put, like, love in a box, right? They love to put it in, say that this is love and this is not. Like, when we're talking about, like, different types of love, like agape love and eros love and this love and that love and fraternal love and this, I'm of the opinion that love is simply just that emotion. Now, I love my dog. I love my wife. I love my daughter. I love my niece. I love, I love my best friends, right? But I'm only banging my wife, okay?
Right.
How I express that is different, but it's still that same kind of, like, it's what's called kin altruism. Like, I love my daughter. I would take a bullet for my daughter because I love her that much.
Of course.
And there's a reason for that love. That love that we have, the reason why we experience that, there is a function and a purpose to that.
Yes.
It's so that you will pair bond with that person, be parentally invested in that person, assuming the kid is yours. I mean, that's got to be on the contract, right? And you want to provide, protect, be parentally invested in that your children, your kin, and your genetic legacy going on into the next generation. That is a function of love right there. Now, we can take that and we go, okay, well, I also love my brother. I also love my extended family. I also love my squad mates who I was in the Marines with, right? Those kinds of things. There's still that love that goes along with that. And we call it fraternal love or whatever else. But really what that comes down to is it's like this, really tribal altruism at that point. And it's like, I would die for my country. I would die for these guys in my squad. I would die for whatever, because that's, think about what your behavior and your sacrifice and everything, your acts of love.
Right.
What kind of emotion merits that kind of behavior? So that's number one. The other thing is when we're talking like what Kevin was talking about earlier about idealism and everything, I've had so many guys who would say, Rollo, I don't know what I should do. If she would just tell me what to do, and I would do it, whatever it takes. Tell me what to do to make you love me, and I will and I will do those things, right? Because they really want to get to that state of love, because it's an idealized state. They think that it is some sort of like transaction at that point, and when that woman is not in love with that person, those guys will try to find whatever it takes because they believe in an idealistic definition of what love is. I want a woman who will love me as much as I love her. That comes from the idealistic perspective. So when we're looking at how do we form a society? How do we build a society based on gender concepts? For women, love is defined, and it is correct by the way that they define it, not the way that men define it. That's why you get guys who are soy boys and you guys who are simping for these girls and everything else. And then lastly here, I wanted to put this out there because this is an iron rule of Tomasi that's in the first book. It's iron rule of Tomasi number 6. Women are utterly incapable of loving a man in the way that a man expects that she can love him, that he expects to be loved.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Women are incapable of loving a man in a way that a man idealizes is possible, in a way he thinks that she should be able to love him. And that's what I meant about that disconnect right there. Like, men are the romantics pretending to be realists, and women are the realists pretending to be the romantics, because they have a priority and they have an opportunism that has to be met before they can allow themselves to be emotionally invested in that guy. So just as Tallulah was saying before, she doesn't get to the point of love unless that guy meets some criteria get to the state where she can actually, want to get with that dude. So long story short, can men and women fall in love? I believe that they can, but only when a guy understands women's opportunism and understands what the criteria is, and only when a woman understands that this guy's an idealistic guy. Men's idealism is one of our primary strengths as human beings. It can be very bad in some cases. It can be the source of our worst atrocities, but it is also the source of our greatest achievements as well. So being idealistic is only good or bad in how we use it and how we have it exploited against us.
Okay, very good. Wow, well said. Tallulah, or I'm sorry, let's go Savo, then Tallulah, and then we'll go to the next question. Go ahead, Savo.
So real quick, Rollo made me think of a lot of things, one of which is when the beta guy is begging his woman to just tell me what you need, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I'll correct it. She already don't love the fact that you don't already know what condition of hers you're failing to meet.
So that's if you're saying that in the first place means you're off the list. You don't get it.
Right, because you're oblivious. And then the other thing is that Rollo made me think of while he was talking is the question, do you love her as a man? As far as a man's form of conditional love, do you love her only when she is your possession? Is that a man's condition? You know what I mean? Because this idea of unconditional love should be in the best interest of whatever makes the person you love happy. So then if that was true, wouldn't you still love her if she loved another man? If she was getting fucked by another man?
Hell no.
Wouldn't you still love her then? Because but I'm saying that's the bullshit of condition. That's the bullshit of the idea of unconditional love. True unconditional love would, in theory, mean you love her as long as she's happy. You support whatever makes her happy. So what if what made her happy was her fucking another man? Would you love her then? Probably not, because then that fails to meet your condition. So that kind of explodes the idea of unconditional love for both genders.
Okay, very good. Tallulah, what did you have to add in terms of the difference between men and women?
Who hurt you?
Say what now? She said, Kevin, who hurt you, Kevin? Go ahead,
Tallulah. The half Mexican chick, Annabella.
Oh, boy. Go ahead, Tallulah. Go ahead.
Yeah, do you know what? I really like what's been said. There's so much that I could comment on. But, it's really funny, the cycle that has been explained here. Like, where Rollo was saying, there's that I'm in love with my partner, but there had to be certain things to get me there, right?
Right.
So, for example, when I met him, he had the high status, he's more of a leader, other guys were looking up to him, all of that was there. I was attracted into him. There was also something in me where I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, how is he going for me? I am really lucky.
Right.
And going back to what else has been said, so that ties in again to, you know, sedates insecurities that was mentioned. And from me kind of thinking, how is he going to go for me? How is he going for me? How's this happening? It was sedating that insecurity that I have around, oh, am I good enough? Do I look good enough? Hang on a minute, I'm not, you know, in my 20s anymore. All of that stuff. And it was sedating those securities. And like I said, you know, when I'm around him, I have this feeling of confidence because he is confident as a person. However, that doesn't take away that, you know, I'm just going to sit there and, you know, and just not do anything in this relationship, because there is still an underlying anxiety that I have. Yes, I love him, but there's still that tiny thing. If I don't keep on my toes with certain things, if I, you know, did sit there and ate junk food all day and, you know, just became selfish or whatever, he would go, right?
Okay. Yeah. Right.
So, like he's got conditions as well as me to fall in love. Like, he sees probably me as I am, very compliant in the relationship. I'm all about him. As you and Devon know, Donovan, he is my absolute world.
Yeah.
I treat him well. And those things do go in my favor. I know that in our relationship, but it doesn't, I'm not sitting there going, I've got this guy forever, because I don't know if I have. There's still an underlying anxiety, yet at the same time, playing out on the left side to that is I still have this feeling of confidence around him.
Now, Tallulah, let me ask you this. So what you just described is competition anxiety. In other words, you know that you can be replaced at any time, and you understand this, and this mentally keeps you on your toes. Would you rather be in a relationship where you do have that low level of anxiety, or would you, as a person, as a woman, or would you rather be in a relationship where you know the guy isn't going anywhere?
No, I'd rather be in this relationship.
Okay.
I think for me, this comes down to, with my father and my grandfather, who I've mentioned before in your shows.
Oh yeah.
I have seen there is a certain way that these men behave. You know, they are what Rollo calls alpha males.
Okay.
I have never, through my whole life, dated or had a relationship with a beta low value guy.
Okay.
The reason I haven't isn't because I think I'm special. I know I'm not special. I'm aware of that.
Okay.
But it's because I have no attraction to these guys. I would rather, like, again, what you guys always say, she would rather be alone than be saddled with one of these guys.
Right. Right. Yeah,
And
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's why, you know, with my man, I know I'm lucky. I'm lucky to be in this relationship. Yet, even though I have anxiety, it still makes me feel confident as a person, because he's confident.
Hey, Donovan, I just want to say one quick thing to that.
Yeah,
most
sure.
Women,
You and then
if you don't mind, real quick.
Yeah,
most women are compliant because their self-preservation depends on it.
Yep.
Okay, it always comes back to them. Everything they do comes back to them. It ain't got nothing to do with these motherfuckers, man. And the sooner you figure that out, I think the freer you are, even with your own thoughts. So, and then secondly, and it's not to put down her point at all. She's a very good speaker, and we appreciate her being here. And if you were to ask her that same question, you know, do you like the competition anxiety, or would you rather be with somebody that you have a sense of peace with and there's no worry? She answers that question the way she does, I think, because of her age. There's a lot of life left in her. If you ask her that in 20 years, she might have a difference of opinion.
Okay. At that point, well, yeah, at that point, hopefully they will have been together for quite a while. Go ahead, Jap. What you got?
Going back to the topic at hand, unconditional love is a effing myth. Yes. Now, not just love for a person, just love, period. If you say you and something better comes along, is your unconditional love for this job, you're going to settle for this $18 an hour where you're at? And if somebody wants to offer you $40 an hour, you're not going to do that because you have unconditional love for your job. No. Women say this, that they have love for men and stuff like that.
Yes, but keep in mind that when they say they love a man, it is not, they're not implying unconditional love like a lot of them would like us to think.
Like if we take it literally, it'd be like, okay, yeah, you're not going to go find anything better. I think that a lot of these women say that they're in love because they found the best that they could possibly find.
Well, that's the true of everybody.
And so a lot of guys, you find yourself in love because at the moment that's the best you got, and
because the ass is big.
And it's there for the longest. It's been there for the longest.
Okay,
it's been the most consistent. So, but all that gets thrown out the window when you improve and something better comes along, because we're always, we can't deny the fact that we're looking around.
Of course.
And there's always the option of something better. But when there's no option of something better, then a lot of people say the love word.
Okay, Technomage B5 with the $10 super chat says, love unconditional equals not the question. Love in a relationship is like wheels on a car. It's a given or there's no relationship. The conditions are based on survival factors. Salute to Rollo. Very good. Cold Rain, $5 says, I agree with Hotep on unconditional love between women and kids. My aunt left her 2 kids to chase Pookie and Ray Ray. That beat her. Hashtag communita. Yes, my mother left all 5 of us to go chase a Pookie up in Detroit. So I'm well aware
I think that
of
was Jap that said that.
Oh, okay. So I guess that was Jap. Okay. Yes, of course. Geek Anomaly, $5 says, every woman I have said I love you to, she dumped me. Every woman where I didn't say a word about it, they're still texting me. Wow. That's modern women. I am the Capitan now. $5 says, great stuff. He says, good stuff, crew. Thanks. And then, of course, Batman 810. $5 says, I need to call in on Lil Dude comment. I have no idea what's going on there. Okay, last question for the panel. We're going to let Rollo lead this one off. What is the most detrimental element, Rollo, of how we define love here in 2022? What is the crippling factor in terms of the way we view and receive love these days?
Well, again, like it comes back to emotion versus reason is what I think it is, because remember, love is an emotion. Okay. So like when I'm a very bad man, because when I go and I analyze things and I would say, well, love, I can make you feel anger. I can put the right chemical cocktail in your shit. I can get you drunk and make you angry, right? I can find ways to remember it's a physical thing. It's not some astrological cosmic energy, the clouds open up and the light shines down, the angels sing, right? It's a feeling that has a purpose. And when you when you remove the magic, I guess, from love, that's when people really hate on you. That's why we need shit like love languages, right? And really what those are is they're just excuses for trying to prioritize the emotional above the rational and reasonable. Now, am I saying that love is doesn't exist? No, of course it does, right? And do we need idealism? Yes. Do we need imagination? Yes. Do we need that capacity to think about what could possibly be? Yes, absolutely. There's bad parts of that and there's good parts of that. So when we look at the reasons for love, the first one, of course, is reproduction and pair bonding. That's number one. Okay, right. We got to have, otherwise we're not the apex species on planet Earth. We need love to still be the apex species on planet Earth.
Got to make people.
Whether that's kin altruism, whether that's family. Like you remember, one of the reasons why I stress the red pill and everything in terms of intersexual dynamics is because it is the nuts and the bolts of bringing men and women together so that they can get laid, they can form families, and they can put out the next generation of human beings. That's the ultimate cause of that. So then on top of that, then you got kin altruism, and your first tribe is your family. Your first tribe is the people who have your blood, who share your bloodline, right? Yep. Those are the people you take a bullet for. Those are the people you will sacrifice things for out of love, to do things for them to ensure that your genetic legacy goes on into the next generation. And then finally, there's tribal altruism. And that can be a lot of different things. That can be your nation, that can be your race, that can be your religion, that can be your politics, that can be all that kind. You will fall in love, or you will tend to form friendships, which are lower level, maybe different levels of intensity of love, but it's still there, rooted in that same purpose, which is cooperation and building things. And as far as men are concerned, it's like exercising our will upon the world. So is love necessary? Yeah, but I think if there's a mistake that we make right now, is we're dragged into the idea that love is only important when it's men and women. And it's only important because women's definition of what love is defines it for everyone else. It's the female correct society, which is what I've been talking about for a very long time, right? So
agreed.
Yeah. So once again, that's the correct way of doing things. So when I see Fresh and Fit on Adam's Saucecast, or when I was talking about love languages and stuff like that,
love language,
I have to sort of remove myself from that and sort of like be like, Jane Goodall or Diane Fossey, like looking at things from an objective perspective and say, what's the behavior and why are they doing these things? And so when I pull myself out, it removes the magic from it. And people hate it when you take the magic away from it, because I can go and say, here's the function for love. And they'll go, but love exists for the sake of love, and because that's what they've been taught since they were 5 years old in Disney, Pixar, and, power ballads in the 80s, taught them that, that's the magical power of love. It's the power of love.
Power of love. Huey Lewis, there it is.
Love, right? And you'll hear that in the church. You'll hear that out in Beyonce or whoever else. You'll hear that wherever you are, and it's still promoting this sort of romanticized magical perspective of love. And I think that if there's a danger, it is, first of all, that women are defining what is the right way and what is the wrong way. The other thing is this, and I made this point on Elijah Schaefer's show on You Are Here, as well as in my fourth book, Religion, which is we've taken love and we've turned it into a god. We've deified love. So it's no longer God is love. It's love is our God. So when we go and we say, well, we did it for love. We want to be on the right side of history. Love is love. It doesn't matter what, blah, blah, blah. There's no conditions. Don't judge me. I'm just going to love for the sake of love. And if that's not you, then you're a hater. That's a way that we can sort of divide society by bringing love into, and it's not so much like a religious, like, in terms of like Christianity or Judaism, or whatever. It's not in those terms. It's that love itself, the feeling of love, the emotion is the highest thing we can think of, to the point where we make love the legitimacy of everything. So now we get married because we want to make our love legitimate, not the other way around.
Wow.
Which was how we used to do it back prior to the sexual revolution. It was, you could have sex in the confines of marriage, but you had to be in love to get to the point where you're going to get to marriage before you could even have sex. I mean, ideally anyways, we know that's bullshit, but still the thing is we've lifted love up to this cosmic magical thing. And when Rollo Tomasi or anybody on this panel comes in here and goes, love is really just serves as a motivator for happiness and good feelings and for pair bonding and everything else, and I break it down to nuts and bolts, then I'm an asshole for showing you the man behind the curtain.
Very good. Wow. Hotep, tough act to follow. Let's see if he can. See, I was going to say Hotep is the only one smart enough to go after Rolla. That's why I had to set him up like that.
That's pure lies. Everyone on this panel is goddamn brilliant. Savo, let me just go ahead and show some props real quick. Savo shows a lot of brilliance in his raps, like his creativity with his raps and his poems.
Thank you, brother.
Oh my God.
Thank you, man. I'm working on the rotation love song right now.
Savo has a freestyle that describes my feelings for AOC.
Wow.
It's amazing. Like he's taking, it's like this dude who is like banging this liberal chick. Like she's all like,
it's written from the perspective of just a regular cat who's banging a social justice warrior. And just sit back observing all this crazy behavior, but maybe kind of like a beta type that's like, I don't really know what the fuck she's talking about, but I guess I'll just go with it.
She's not fucking me. If she was fucking me, she wouldn't be doing that.
Hell no. Hell no.
That's why Minister Jap wasn't featured.
Your thoughts on the most detrimental element of, and we'll go Hotep and EO.
Rolo said it already. It's two entities in this world that have been three. I'm gonna say three that have been the most detrimental. One of them is gonna be vague, and two of them are gonna be very specific. The vague one is Hollywood. The very specific ones are Viacom and Disney.
Wow, Viacom, you put that in there. Okay, all right.
Yep.
Viacom is the most toxic programming a woman can ever consume. I've consulted friends, right? Not professionally, but friends. And they come to me and they say, "Oh, I'm having problems with my girl." And the first thing I asked them, I said, "She watch Love and Hip Hop?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "You never gonna get your girl back until you get her off Viacom."
That's all right.
That's the first thing you gotta do, because what they do is they implant false reality, a
Conditioning.
fake. What'd you say?
Conditioning. It's operant conditioning, is what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's conditioning, but it's not real. It's not real love because they say it's reality TV. Meanwhile, it's scripted. They have them doing the same scene. I've seen it before.
It's
They have them doing the
ridiculous,
same scene 3 or 4 times, and the reactions they're getting, or they'll grab one person, get them drunk, and then drop them off at the club, and then bring the cameras over. It's fake, okay? Some dude gets her flowers that cover the whole house, but the TV studio was their idea and they paid for it, right? Then you got the programming from Disney that goes inside a little girl's head at a very early age. The worst thing you could ever do to a girl is let her watch Cinderella, Snow White, and the Seven Dwarfs,
that's right,
Beauty and the Beast, and whatever else they got coming out of here. Aladdin, right? The last thing you want to do is show a little girl these stories. These stories implant false reality in her head, and then what happens is every boy and man now have to live up to this fake shit, right?
Yep.
And then when they don't, the little girl's upset, so she goes through life chasing something that's not real. And then when she finally gets something that's close to it, she understands that it's fleeting, it's temporary. It only lasts a week. It only lasts 3 weeks. It's only in the honeymoon stage.
Yes.
She goes, well, a year later, she's like, well, what happened to the romance? What happened to the romance?
The
Bitch, I was
butterflies.
just trying to get in your drawers, okay? I don't love you, okay? But that is the biggest problem. Viacom, Disney, and goddamn Hollywood.
Okay, EO, in your opinion, what is the most detrimental element of how we define love here in 2022?
Yeah, man, I'm glad I'm next. I got to take a piss. Hey, excuse my French, but
That's okay.
Anyway, I'll say this. I'll try to keep it fairly simple, but men and women. But I'm kind of here for the men. But you got to stop loving from the senses. Men could smell a woman and now he's in love.
Right.
He sees her vagina and now he's in love. He feels what it's like to penetrate a vagina. Now he's in love. So you got to stop loving from the senses, and you have to train your mind to love who you're most productive with.
Yes.
It's all about productivity.
Wow.
It's not about how the fuck she looks. I always tell you that I want a worker, not a looker. Because when I want her to dial up for me, I'm gonna tell her exactly how to do that. So she could be a 6 all day, but when I'm ready for her to be an 8.5, 9, I'll
Bingo.
tell her how to do that.
You know it.
She will do that.
Hell yeah.
So when you're looking at productivity more than chasing what your senses are falling for, you're gonna get further in life. So get away from how bad she looks, how that ass looks, how she feels, how she smells. That's kind of foolish and immature. You want to deal with people you're productive with. For example, let's say you live out in Chicago. Well, you go start the car. She's like, all right, babe, I'm going to get your coffee. You guys are productive. You guys are working together as a team, and that's what you should be going after, is how well you work together as a team, instead of chasing this immature foolishness of what your senses grab onto.
Okay, very good. Tallulah, what is your opinion on the most detrimental element of the way men and women view love here in 2022? And then we'll go Jap.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it is fueled by the media, which you guys have already said.
Of course.
But I mean, here in the UK, we have a lot of reality TV shows.
Oh yeah.
Which again has been mentioned. But all they need to do with that is chop up those scenes and put a certain type of music in there, and it makes it sound like that's a real loving relationship. And even myself, I can get sort of taken on this little journey with that. Oh, that's really sweet. And then obviously, because it's a bit of drama, sort of getting into that as well. But it's not real. And my goddaughter, she's 15 now, and she's asked me, what does it feel like to be in love? And it's really kind of hard. Yeah, right. It's
a good question.
When she asked me, but because unfortunately, the age that she's in, there's so much media around her all the time. I mean, she's 15 and watching reality shows, which I wouldn't probably be watching until my 20s.
Right.
And trying to explain to her, Love Island, The Only Way is Essex. Yes. I don't know about what you guys have in the US, but these are not real relationships. They add the music, they add everyone looking great, and it's just not reality. And I do see that as detrimental, because she has been watching that stuff since she was 13. And that's not because, you know, her parents are amazing parents, but it's just unfortunately the way things are now. This is going to be in her vicinity.
Right.
I definitely agree with, you know, Disney as well. That's also definitely detrimental to both men and women. But also this sort of message that I see, and it mainly goes to men, I guess, and women, unrequited love. So showing someone love when they are not going to give you anything. They are not going to give you any love back, any affection. And they kind of, I think Disney does this, or like I always see it with guys on a program, that he will continue to be her friend. He will continue to buy her flowers, and it'll all be like made a laugh and a joke. Oh, she dismissed the flowers, but he continues to do that, and eventually he gets the girl,
right?
Which it's not
doesn't work that way, does it?
No, not reality. No.
That's funny. You see the look on her face, like she smelled something bad. Jap, in your opinion, and I'll go after you. What is the most detrimental element of how we define love today?
I think that the problem is that we are thinking that love is the real L word that we need to be looking for, which is loyalty.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Wow, very good.
Like, now, unconditional loyalty is real. That's reality. Unconditional love isn't. Now, love is a feeling. It's like being drunk, high, or having a euphoria, or having some type of adrenaline. It has to continuously be renewed, and it can fade off. Loyalty is different. For instance, there are troops right now who don't believe in Biden, who hate Joe Biden, hate everything he stands for, but are loyal to what they signed up for.
Yeah, loyal to the flag.
Yeah. Loyal to the country, and they have to obey even if they don't like who's saying.
Right.
That's what we have. That's what we're thinking that we're saying when we're saying unconditional love. It's really loyalty. And yeah, I'm loyal to who we have to be with. We got gang members that's loyal to bad gang leaders.
That's right.
They have to do things that they didn't want to do, but they were loyal and they did it anyway. You know?
Yep.
And they stayed down and they didn't go into another gang or anything like that. Even if the gang was snitching, they just stayed there. They signed up for it. They have to remain loyal. That's unconditional loyalty. But the love, they don't love it. You know what I mean? But they're still loyal to it. Women like what they see. They love what they see in men. They love what, we love, as men, we love what we see. So we love the visual and all of that.
Oh, yes.
But they love what a man is. They love what you are.
What you are, not who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What you are is something that they can actually love, but not what they really see. Because they see men all day. They got more options than us.
There you go.
Their inbox is way more popping than anybody.
Real talk.
Like, their inboxes is crazy. So they love what you are. And if you are something that she can see, oh, she's going to really be in love. But we, like, again, us as men, we have a dumb way of going about it by just visually looking like cavemen. All we want to do is,
it's got to be more than that.
Stick our dicks in holes. And that hasn't elevated us. Love, women can actually find they strategically love. They will find guys
opportunistically.
And then a lot of guys, beta guys, want to be loved because they want a second mother. So they prey on that. So these women strategically act the act, talk the talk to keep themselves sustained and be in the presence of a man who's weakened by beauty, and then they elevate. Love doesn't elevate us as men because we're always on the working end.
Okay. What I'll say is this, and I'm going to keep this short because we gotta go ahead and end this here real soon. It's getting late in London. They're 5 hours ahead of us. The most detrimental elements of how we define love on the female side the way women define and receive and get involved with love, there are two major things. Women are always chasing the butterflies. What women like to do is the reason why women float from one relationship to the next constantly is because they're looking for that next high, right? Well, and their excuse is, well, he doesn't give me butterflies anymore. I don't have those insatiable feelings anymore. Sweetheart, those are always going to be fleeting. Everybody has a honeymoon period in their relationship where for 2 or 3 weeks, the other person can do no wrong. Their annoyances are just cute little idiosyncrasies. But then a little further down the line, those idiosyncrasies become small annoyances and they get bigger. What women and men, there are some guys like this too. What women and men have to understand is that butterflies don't always equal the right thing. When a woman says he doesn't give me butterflies, a lot of times what she's saying is that he doesn't give me that drama. He doesn't give me that extreme anxiety. Another thing is that women often mistake being bored in a relationship with a stable relationship. You're in a stable relationship free of drama. He's not cheating. He's not putting his hands on you. He treats you well. After a while, women start to say to themselves, well, I don't feel those butterflies or I'm bored. No, you're not bored. You're in a stable relationship. And women fear boredom more than they do chaos, especially today's women. On the other side of that, as far as men are concerned, and I agree with EO and Jap 100%, men need what we need to do to be able to immunize ourselves against the wiles of a woman. We need to fuck as many women as humanly possible, because only then can you desensitize yourself to the wiles of a woman. That way, when you actually do find yourself falling in love, quote unquote, with a woman, you know it's not just because of the sex. I love Devin. Part of the reason why I love Devin is because of the way she looks. Devin's attractive. She's got a great body. If I'm not sexually attracted to her, then this relationship would never be what it is. However, it's not just her attractiveness got her in the door, but all the other things that she does for me keeps her in the door. I think a lot of guys need to understand, never underestimate the power of experience. The more experienced you are with women, the more impervious you can become to their wiles. All right, let's go around the panel for our final thoughts and where the people can find you. Tomasi, lead us off, man.
Oh boy, do I get to do that?
Hey,
Yes,
y'all.
you do. Hey, y'all.
Tomorrow I'm going to be doing my show at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Let's do it.
You can find me, and I am the Rational Male on my YouTube channel. I will be on with John from Modern Life Dating. We're going to actually be doing a much deeper dive into the Twitter swindler, or excuse me, it might as well be Twitter, Tinder swindler thing.
Simon Live Eye, baby.
So much to unpack in that whole thing. So John and I wanted to do something on that, so we're going to go and do a longer form show on that tomorrow. People are going to ask me about the 5th book, so I'm just going to say it's going to be towards the end of this month. I'm still waiting to hear back from Amazon for the approval, and this is a short month too. So, and let's see what else do I got going. That's really all I can talk about at this moment. But
okay.
I'm back in the studio, as you can see. We did Rule 0 this morning, which I thought was a really great show, and I think that's it for me.
Okay, very good. Hotep.
Yo, make sure you get you a chick that doesn't think every day is Christmas. I am Hotep Jesus. You can follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/Hotep Jesus, and check out our website for menoforder.com.
Very good. Excellent. Savo, where can the people find you?
Yeah, I got an album on iTunes that's my masterclass.
Let's do it, baby.
Storytelling. You can find that on iTunes and Spotify. Punch in Kevin Savo, Unsober Moments. You can find my song about modern single mothers, thought mommies. Just put in the fellas thought mommies.
She gonna need a babysitter.
My sitcom starring Rolo and Donovan is The Adventures of Savo.
Yes, sir.
And, my
Yes,
Instagram is Savo Music CT. And real quick, I know nobody would. There's no reason to ever want to come to Connecticut. But if any of y'all ever want to come, if any of y'all ever want to come join me in the studio in Connecticut so we can really talk in person at length, you're welcome. You're welcome to come star on my show. You know, Myron Gaines, people don't even realize he's one of mine. He's from the neighborhood.
He is from Connecticut. Yeah.
Nobody wants to claim Connecticut.
Nah.
It's just that fucked. But if there's anything going on out here right now, it's what we're doing. And
very
y'all
good.
Are always welcome to come join me.
Very good. EO.
Hey, Vince McMahon is from the Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken. Good old Vince.
I did not know that.
I think he's from Connecticut.
That?
Yeah.
Well, that explains a lot. Okay. EO, where can people find you?
Yeah, man. Good discussion tonight. Great
of
panel. Also, we want to thank our guest. Hope I wasn't too hard on you, but I just wanted to use some of those moments as coachable moments. But so I'm Coach EO. I got quite a few series on my channel. I try to target different age demographics. So Killing the Simp is a popular series. I'm trying to hit the younger guy with that. And then LTR, Leading the Relationship, is kind of hitting the guy who's thinking about getting into, something a little more permanent. I also have a book on Amazon. My debut book is titled Cut the Bullshit.
Yes,
you can find it there. And my second book should be out before or by early spring, I would say. So
okay.
Anyway, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And Jap, tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, Minister Jap, King of the Shadow Band. You know what I mean? But yeah, follow me on Instagram, Minister Jap Network, Minister Jap Network on YouTube. Any channel, anything you see that says Minister Jap, just hit the follow button. I'm on Facebook and Twitter at the Minister Jap on Twitter.
For now.
Yeah. Twitter's been all right. I mean, they're letting a lot of people get away with a lot of stuff, though.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Other than that, man, I'm glad to be on. Great discussion.
Absolutely.
Fellas, we gotta be smarter, man. We can't let these chicks win.
It's not your booty, it's your beauty. Tallulah, listen, I think I speak for everyone here when we say thank you for making time for us. You represented yourself here very well. Any last words?
Yes, thank you for having me. It's been a really lovely conversation. I've learned a lot. And I have been nervous because I'm still not used to streaming. I still haven't done a live stream on my own channel. So, so you can find me at my new YouTube channel, which is The Feminine Truth. That's The Feminine Truth. And I should be doing some more videos, as I always do, just talking about how to kind of keep in there if you are with a high value man. The channel is geared more towards women, so any women, please do come and check out the channel. And I'm also going to be doing some more podcasting and my first live with another lady as well.
Okay, very good. Yeah, subscribe to everyone's channels. Subscribe to Tallulah's channel. We're trying to get her to 1,000 subscribers. I think she's pretty close now. Thank all of my panelists for joining us. That is going to do it for this edition of The Six. We will see you guys next time. Take care.